not of any other format, then you need to configure the ADC. So how will you configure the ADC? So in our case for 8051, it doesn't have an ADC built in, but you can interface an external ADC to it. We'll see how that is happening. And before that, I'll just explain to you basic operation of an ADC. You might have already studied this, but just in case to refresh your memory. Okay. Right. So let me just share my screen. Okay. I hope everybody can see my screen. Okay. So what we are going to look at is ADC. Okay. So any kind of an external device, for example, a sensor, let's say a temperature sensor. Now, when the sensor temperature sensors the temperature, so let's say this is a temperature sensor. So there is some mechanism in this temperature sensor which senses the temperature. Okay. Now, internally, this temperature sensor, whatever sensing mechanism it is making use of, will be some kind of a physical device. Okay. So the physical devices always can give an output in terms of an analog signal only. So the temperature sensor will definitely give an output in terms of an analog signal. Now, if you are seeing the signal, you will see the variations. Something it's very small, subtle variations like this. Now, if you look at this signal and try to guess what is the temperature at any point, or what is the average temperature, or how whether you want to predict the temperature at different time in a future time, it is not possible. So you need to do some kind of a processing of this analog signal. Now, the processing cannot be done manually. It is very difficult to do processing manually. So you need to interface this whole setup to some kind of a digital system. Okay. So, and to interface this to digital system, there should be some kind of a bridge, because this will take only like bits, and the output that is coming from here is analog voltage. So there should be a bridge which connects the digital system to that of an analog system. And that bridge is your ADC, analog to digital converter. Okay. Now, so now you can connect the analog, whatever signal that you are measuring from the temperature sensor, to the ADC. The ADC will convert this analog signal to digital and give it to digital system. And digital system knows that if your digital value is, let's say, 1024, that means it is corresponding to a particular temperature. Okay, so there are some noises, everything which is always there because of this conversion, which usually is okay. It will not affect your reading. Okay, so what today what we are going to see is what is this part, the ADC. Okay, now when you talk about ADC, if you consider a voltage across time, okay, just to make it simple, let us consider a sinusoidal voltage. For example, the 230 hertz that you are getting from your main supply, something like this. Okay, or let me put it more easily. Let me start from the 0 point. So all these things you might have already studied. I'm just refreshing that. So okay, so let's say this is 5 volt. This is 0 volt. This is a continuous signal. Now, how will you convert this to a digital signal? And I hope you know what is the method to convert this. This is called as sampling. Okay, so you can always sample the signal at different points. Okay, so basically you say sample and hold, because it is not an impulse. Practically, it is basically a rectangular pulse because you are holding the value for some time. Okay, so when you sample this, then you see that you are sampling at a regular interval, this interval. Okay, so this gap is constant, means that every two gap is have the always have the same duration. So this is called as the sampling period. And 1 by sampling period is the sampling frequency. Okay, now once you sample this one, you'll get value something like this. So for example, this might be like 2.5 volt, this might be like 4.9 volt, this is 5 volt, this is again maybe 4.8 volt, this is again like 2.3 volt, and so on. Okay, so when you sample the signal, the output that you are getting will be something like this. At time is equal to 0, you are getting 2.5 volt. At time is equal to t, you are getting 4.9 volt. At time is equal to 2t, you are getting 5 volt. At time is equal to 3t, you are getting 4.8 volt. At time is equal to 4t, you are getting 2.3 volt, and so on. Okay. Now, again, if you see this, this is again a analog value. It is still not digitalized. Okay. So to do the digitalization, what you will say is you are going to divide this 0 to 5 volt range into a uniformly distributed divisions. Okay. So let's say I divide this into let's say 10 divisions, just for the sake of example. There are 10 divisions between, sorry, there are 10 divisions between 0 and 5 volt. Okay, there are 10 divisions. That means the voltage at the boundary of each division is, this is, so the minimum, the range of the voltage is 5 by 10, that is 0.5 volt. So each vertical line corresponds to a 0.5 volt greater than the previous line. So this is 0, this is 0.5, this is 1, this is 1.5, this is 2, this is 2.5, etc. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign a fixed number of bits to each of them. Okay, so since there are 10 divisions, that means you need to have at least 4 bits. So what I'll do is I'll assign 0, 0 to be 0, 0, 0, 0.5 to be 0, 0, 0, 1, 1 to be 0, 0, 1, 0, 1.5 to be 0, 0, 1, 1, 2 to be 0, 1, 0, 0, and so on. And the 5, voltage 5 will be 1, 1, 1. Okay. Now, if you look at this, you see that these are all in bits. Basically, we have digitalized the divisions. Okay. But the voltage that we read is something like this: 2.3, 4.8, 5, 4.9. And if you look at this, this is 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. And you will not be able to get 2.3 or 4.8 or 4.9 in this one. So what will you do? The answer is you will approximate it to the nearest boundary. For example, if it is 2.3 volt, your divisions are 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 6, 6.5, 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5, and maybe, sorry, I think it's not till the, only till 5 is there. .5. These are your divisions. Okay. So when you sample and get a value like 2.3 volt, you will see from this among divisions what is the nearest value. So you can see that the nearest value is 2.5. So this 2.3 will be assigned, or it will be changed to the value as 2.5. So this 2.3 will be actually 2.5 volt. Or you can say that there is an error of 0.2 volt. It's called as a condensation noise error. Okay. And now you know for 2.5 you have a value which is assigned here, which is 0.101. So the 2.5 will have a value 0.10. So now you have converted your voltage into a digital value, but with an error of 0.2 volt. Similarly, if it is 4.9 volt, the nearest value is 5. So the 4.9 will be converted to 5, and there's an error of 0.1 volt. The 5 volt will be 111. So now you have converted your continuous analog signal to a digital signal. Okay, so this is the conversion procedure. Now, what are the parameters for this conversion? First parameter is how many number of divisions. If you increase this 10 to 100 divisions, if you make this as 100 divisions, then the minimum voltage is 5 by 100, that is 0.05. Okay, and 0.05 means that the number of steps. So for 10 divisions, you have like 10 steps. For 0.05 volt voltage minimum value, you will have 100 steps. But then you can more accurately represent any of these values. So if you have more number of divisions, then you can accurately represent any of these values. Accuracy means that you have seen that there is an error of 0.2 volt. This is actually an inaccurate result because there's an error. But if you have made that division 0.05, then you can accurately specify in bits what is the value. For example, if it is 2.3 volt, there will be a division corresponding to 2.3 volt because 0.05. Okay, so the division is 2.3 divided by 0.05, and you see that this will definitely get divided. Okay, this is, I think, 46th division. Yeah. Okay, so the 46th division is actually 2.3 volt. But if you look at here, there is no such division or the boundary in which you can accurately specify this 2.3 volt. Okay, so as you increase the number of divisions, the error reduces, the accuracy increases, but at a cost. The cost is, if you want to represent 100 divisions, then the minimum number of bits that you need to have is 7. You need to have 7 bits. So this has increased the number of bits. Okay. So the 46th division will have a 7-bit representation. Okay. So this is basically how the ADC works. So normally for an ADC, you will have something called as a resolution. Resolution means what is the size of this division, each division. So each division has a uniform size. What is the size of this division? That is called as the resolution. So if you have 10 division, the resolution is 0.5 volt. If you have 100 division, the resolution is 0.05 volt. Okay. So what is the procedure to find the resolution? The procedure is like this. You find the minimum voltage, you find the maximum voltage, Vmax minus Vmin divided by number of divisions. Okay, that's the resolution. Now, let's say you have an 8-bit ADC. An 8-bit ADC means that each boundary or each division will be represented by an 8-bit value. So you have from 0 to 5 volt, and you have multiple divisions like this. So each of this division will be represented by an 8-bit value. That is called as an 8-bit ADC. If it is 16-bit ADC, then each division is represented by a 16-bit value. Okay. So why do we need to specify as 8-bit or a 16-bit ADC? The answer is, the higher the number of bits, the better the resolution is, or the smaller the resolution is. So for an 8-bit ADC, 8-bit means you can represent 2 raised to 8, 256 values. So this is also the number of divisions. Okay, I'm just saying the opposite. Okay, instead of coming from divisions to the bits, I'm going from bits to divisions. So the resolution is, so in this case, you have from 0 to 5 volt. So 5 minus 0 by 256. This much voltage is the resolution. Okay, I think this will come around 0.026 or something like that. Volt. So that is the resolution. Now, if you have a 16-bit ADC, the number of divisions is equal to 2 raised to 16, that is 65536. So the resolution is 5 minus 0 by 65536. And you can see that this will be a very, very small value when you compare with this. Okay, 0.02 divided by 256 is actually this. Okay, so this will be like 0.004 or something like that. Okay, so with this value, you can represent much more smaller sampled values, which means the ADC is better. But as you increase the number of bits in an ADC, ADC will become more complicated. It will become less faster, etc., etc. Yeah, coming about the performance or the fastness. Now, when you have an ADC, you should also consider the sampling frequency. You see, you are sampling it here. Okay. If your sampling frequency is very small, you will not be able to sample higher frequency signal. So in this case, there is no problem because you are sampling it here, 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 etc. So it might be within the Nyquist rate. Let's take another example. Let's take a signal which is varying very fast. Something like this. Okay. If you sample with the same time period as before, you see that you miss many things. If you make an envelope of this, whatever you have sampled, you see that something like this comes, which is not the actual signal. So you have missed many things. So the sampling frequency is also a configuration parameter for your ADC. The better the sampling frequency, the better the ADC is. The higher number of bits for ADC, the better the resolution is. But as you increase the sampling frequency and as you increase the number of bits, the cost of ADC will also increase. So you should always choose in your projects an adequate ADC which only for your application. Like you might not need high resolution. Then you can say, okay, I don't need high resolution, but my signal is very high frequency, because of which I will select an ADC which has a high sampling frequency, but with lesser resolution or lesser number of bits. Okay, so all these are the criteria to select an ADC, and these are all the configuration parameters. Okay, I hope you have understood what I have told about ADC, because in your projects, I am sure at some point of time, if you are making a hardware project, you need to select a controller with an ADC or a separate ADC chip. Okay, so when you are selecting such kind of an ADC, make sure that you have all these things in your mind. What should be the resolution? What should be the sampling frequency? And there is one more thing, that is the ADC range. I'll also just mention that one also. So in all our examples, we have told that, okay, ADC is from 0 to 5 volt. This is the range of the ADC. And this voltage usually we call as Vref, the maximum voltage. Okay. Now it is possible that your ADC might not be able to sample any voltage above, let's say, 3 volt. So the range of ADC then becomes 0 to 3 volt. So whatever voltage you give beyond this 3 volt will not get sampled, or it will get sampled, but you will always get the maximum value. Okay. So depending on what is the input that you are getting, whether it is 5 volt, 3 volt, 2 volt, or 10 volt, you should also select the ADC depending on the maximum range the ADC can have. Okay. So if you have 0 to 3 volt ADC, which is of 8 bit, the resolution is 3 minus 0 by 2 raised to 8, that is 3 by 256. You see that it has a better resolution than that of 5 volt ADC. Okay. So keep also these things in mind, because these are also asked in many of the interviews in many of the electronic companies. So this is a very basic thing about ADC, and ADC is used in almost all the systems, digital systems, where you need to have some kind of an interaction with the external world. Okay, so don't forget all these concepts. Make sure you understand all of this. Okay, fine. So now let's move on to our controller, which is basically the 8051. In 8051, you don't have a ADC built in inside it. Instead, what we are going to do is we are going to interface an ADC chip to this, and then we are going to sample the voltage. Okay, so these are all basic introductions. So the chip that we are going to use is ADC 804. So this PPT is already there in your classroom, so you can just go through it. So it works with 5 volt and resolution of 8 bits. Resolution means that you can 5 by 2 raised to 8. That is, that much is the minimum voltage that you can find. Okay, and conversion time, or you can say that how fast the ADC can convert analog to digital, is also very fast. So this is the chip. So in this chip, you see that you have D0, D1, D7. So this is basically the output. You have V in and V in minus. This is called as a differential analog input voltage. So basically you give the input voltage to V in and V in minus. V in minus is usually ground. If you want to give a differential voltage, for example, like 5 volt and 2 volt, then the conversion will be happening between 2 and 5 volt. There's an analog ground. This is Vref by 2. I have told you that the maximum voltage you can configure here is Vref. This is Vref by 2. So if you give 3 volt, the maximum voltage the ADC will identify as 6 volt. There are some clocks. There's a chip select. There is a read signal, and there is a digital ground. Okay. So digital ground and analog ground will be connected to the normal ground. Okay. There are two different grounds so that there will be a proper isolation between analog and digital. There's a chip select. So chip select is active low. So if you want the system to work, you need to connect chip select to the ground. Read is also output enable, which means that if you make the signal high to low in read, then whatever input you have given in Vin to Vin plus and Vin minus, it will be converted to the digital and it will be available at the outputs D0 to D7. Okay. And you will also get an interrupt saying that, okay, my conversion has finished. So there will be a signal which is going to your controller, which will tell you that your conversion has finished. And to start the conversion, you can enable the write. You make a low to high transition at this write pin so that it will start the conversion, and the read signal will be make your output available, and the interrupt will be also be coming. Okay. So the clock input, clock in and clock R are the input clocks for your ADC. This is basically like, you can say that currently it is connected to a capacitor and a resistor, which is basically an RC filter, which will make an oscillation to create a clock. You can specify the time period and frequency of this by this formula, F is equal to 1 by 1.1 RC. So depending on how much frequency, ADC frequency you need, you can configure the clock. Okay. And Vref, as I told you, is Vref by 2 is the maximum voltage that you can convert. So if your Vref by 2 is 2, then any voltage of Vin from 0 to 2 into 2, is 4, can be converted. So the resolution or the minimum step size is 4 by 255. It is 15.62. Okay, so similarly 1.5, this is 3 by 256, that is 11.71. So you will get the output in the digital format at the output. If you get some value at D out from D0 to D7, you can always see what is the corresponding voltage value by multiplying it by the step size. So your minimum step size, let's say it is 19.53 millivolt. Let's say your D out is, you got as 0, 1, that is 1. The decimal value 1. So the input voltage is 1 into 19.53, which is basically your input voltage. Okay. So there are analog ground and digital ground that we have already seen. And then you have the control signals, which is chip select, write enable, read and enable, and there's an interrupt. Okay. When you select the chip, when the chip goes from high to low, the chip is selected. When the write pin goes from low to high, then there is a conversion has been started. Okay. So the conversion starts when the write goes from low to high and the chip select is low. So the conversion has started here and the conversion has ended here. So you see that the interrupt pin, which was high during the conversion, has gone low. So when the interrupt pin has gone low, the conversion has been ended. Now the controller will make the read pin high to low to read the data. Okay. So the controller will get an interrupt if it is connected to INTR pin from high to low, saying that the conversion has ended. So in your program, what you will do is you will make the chip select low and make the read pin also low, so that the ADC will give you the data to your input pins of the controller. Okay. So Let's see the complete diagram. This is the diagram. So you have 8051. Your port 2 is connected to RD. Port 2.6 is connected to WR. Port 1 pin number 0 to 7 are connected to D0 to D7, and port 2 pin number 7 is connected to INTR. So your chip select is always connected to low. Okay. So let's say you want to start a conversion. What you will do is you will make port 2 pin number 6 high to low. So the conversion will start. Once the conversion ends, this pin, INTR pin, will move from high to low. So your controller knows that the conversion has ended. So what you will do, you will make the read pin, which is port to 5th pin, high to low. So the read will be enabled, and you can read from the pins port 1, 0 to 7. So that is the procedure. And you see that there's a potential meter here, which will be dividing this input analog voltage and giving it to Vin plus, which will get converted here, and the clocks are here. Okay. So the corresponding program is mentioned here. I will post this program in your assignment. Okay. So what it is being done is like this. You make the port 1 as input. Right pin is connected to port to 6th pin. So you clear that, and then you enable it by making it low to high. When you make it low to high, then the conversion will start. Then you wait. So this is a wait statement. So you are monitoring port to 7th pin for any interrupt. When an interrupt comes, or when the value moves from high to low, then it will jump to the next state. That means the interrupt has occurred, the conversion has finished. So what you will do is you will enable the RD pin by clearing the port to 5th pin. Then you move the data from port 1, because port 1 is connected to D0 to D7, so it will be moved to A. Then actually the question is to convert the input hexadecimal value to ASCII conversion. That is, these two functions will be called, one to convert and one to display. And then you make the read pin disabled and you jump back here. Okay, this is the program. Fine. So in today's assignment, what we are going to do is you will use the same program. You don't want to do any simulation. What you do is you implement this function or subroutine called as conversion, where you want to convert the hexadecimal value to an ASCII value. The program will be already there in this file itself. You can check it, and you implement this conversion, hexadecimal to ASCII. Okay, so that's all for the today's program. It's a very simple subroutine. You don't want to write the complete program. I will post this complete program, and you try to do this conversion. Tomorrow's session, tomorrow also we'll have a session at 10 o'clock. We will try to interface an LCD and we'll try to implement this function, the display, where the actual ADC data that you got will be converted to ASCII and it will be displayed on the LCD. Okay. Any questions on anything that I have told today? Nothing? Okay, fine. So I'll post the assignment now. So today what you want to do is you want to do the conversion from hex to decimal, hex to ASCII, and hex value is the one that you are actually getting from the ADC, which you are going to convert to ASCII, because tomorrow's session we are going to display this ASCII value in an LCD. And tomorrow's session we are going to see how the LCD is working, what are the control signals, and what are the steps to initialize the LCD and so on. Okay. Okay. Just to remind you once again, I had posted last assignment day before yesterday assignment. Only 2 have submitted, so I'm extending the deadline till today night. If you have not submitted yet, please submit it. Otherwise, even if you submit it tomorrow, I'll give you 0 marks. this assignment will also be, all these assignments for this week and next week will be counted for your continuous evaluation. So make sure you do these assignments. Assignments are not tough, just like in our previous things, because these are all interfacing things. I'm just giving you the code and I'm just asking you to do small modifications. That's all, nothing else. Okay. So make sure you submit the assignment. So this assignment will also be due today. And the last assignment has already, I have told that it will be due tonight itself. So make sure you submit both the assignments by today, and we will meet again tomorrow for the LCD or keyboard or LED. We'll see which one will be better to do. Okay, for that interface. Any more questions? Any questions from your side? Nothing. Okay. So let me take that lens. So one is absent.
Sir, 1% ആണ്.
Present ആണ്. Okay. 4 ഉണ്ടോ? ആദർശ് ഇല്ല. 5, 6, 7 Anena. ഇല്ല. 9 Anjana. 10 Apsara. Okay. 11. 12 Ashwin. 13. 14 Aslam. 15. Okay, present ആണ്. 16. 17 Winsreed. 18, 19, 20, 27. 27 Nias. 30 Swali. 31 Nidu. 38 Sharanya. 44 Sripriya. 45 Varun. 46 Vidya. 48 Vishnu. 52 Arun. 53 Arun PK. 55 Kavya. Okay. Okay. So tomorrow we will have another session. So please please attempt both these assignments and try to submit it by today. Okay. So thank you. Thank you for listening. Yeah, Adira present. Okay.